Hello all, welcome you to the second presentation on the topic propositional logic. In the first lecture, we had seen the syntax of propositional logic, and we have seen how to represent a formula in propositional logic as a tree and as a string. In this presentation, we will be discussing structural induction, which is actually used to prove that a property holds for all formulas in a logical system. Then we will see the formal grammar for formulas in propositional logic, and we will see how to draw a derivation tree for a formula. Before we discuss what structural induction is, we will discuss what a principal operator is. Let A be a formula in propositional logic. See, F is actually the set of all possible formulas in propositional logic. So when we consider any formula, that formula will be an element of F, element of the set F, which is the set of all formulas in propositional logic. So let A be an element of F, be a formula in propositional logic. Now, our formula A can be either an atom, like you may have P as a formula, or it will be atoms which are connected with operators, like say negation P is another formula in propositional logic, where an atom, we have an atom P and a negation operator. Then we have P implies Q, which is a formula in propositional logic. Here we have two atoms P and Q, to which the implies operator is applied, or which is connected using the implies operator. Now, P implies Q equivalence, negation P implies negation Q. It is another formula in propositional logic. So, a formula in propositional logic can be either an atom like say P, or it may be atoms which are connected with operators. Okay, so when you consider a formula, any one of the operator will be used for labeling the root of the formula, and that operator is called the principal operator. So when you consider this particular formula, like P implies Q equivalence, negation P implies negation Q, the root is labeled with equivalence. So equivalence is the principal operator in this case. And since this is a binary operator, it will have two subtrees. In the left subtree, we have the formula P implies Q. So when you consider the left subtree, again we have the operator negation, implies, which is labeled as the root of the left subtree. Okay. And here again we have implies, which is labeled as the root of the right subtree. Okay. Which again has got two subtrees. The left subtree consists of negation P and the right subtree consists of negation Q. Okay. So the operator that is used to label the root of the formula is called the principal operator of the formula. Okay, now coming to structural induction. Structural induction, it is used to prove that a property holds for all formulas. It is a method that we use in logical system to prove that a property holds for all formulas. It is similar to mathematical induction. You might have be knowing what natural induction is. So it is very much similar to mathematical induction. But the difference is like structural induction usually applies to the height of a tree. We represent the formula as a tree. So it applies to the height of the tree. So when we consider the tree representation of the formula, a formula is either a leaf which is labeled by an atom, or it is a tree with a principal operator and one or two subtrees. Okay, so a formula, if it is a simple formula like P, it will be just a leaf which is labeled by an atom, or if it is a formula say P implies Q, then it will be a tree with a principal operator implies and two subtrees, one which is the atom P and the other one which is the atom Q. Okay, so a formula can be labeled either by an atom, or will be a leaf label with an atom, or will be a tree with a principal operator and one or two subtrees. Okay, so just as in the mathematical induction, here also we have the base case, the inductive step, and what we need to prove. Okay, so here the base case is to prove the property for a leaf. Base case is to prove the property for a leaf. The leaf will be an atom, say P. Okay, in the inductive step, what we assume is, we assume that the property holds for the subtrees. We assume that the property holds for the subtrees, and then we try to prove that the property for the formula, which is we actually try to prove that the property applies for the formula that is obtained by applying the principal operator to the subtrees. Okay, we assume that the property holds for the subtrees, and then we try to prove the property for the formula which is obtained by applying the principal operator to the subtrees. Okay, in structural induction we have three theorems. To show that a property holds for all formulas A, an element of F, we need to prove that the property holds for all atoms P. That is the first theorem. The second theorem states that assume that the property holds for a formula A, and then we prove that the property holds for negation A. And the third says that assume that the property holds for formulas A1 and A2. Prove that the property holds for A1 op A2, where op is the binary operators available in propositional logic. So for each of the binary operators, we need to prove that A1 op A2, the property holds for A1 op A2. Okay, now we will move on to the proof. See, let A be an arbitrary formula. A is some formula in the propositional logic, and suppose that we have proved the theorems which were stated earlier. Like we have proved theorem 1, theorem 2 and theorem 3 have been shown for some property. Okay, for these three theorems have been shown for some property. Okay, now we show that the property holds for A by numerical induction on A. That is the height of the tree. Okay, we show that it holds by a numerical induction on the height of the tree. The height of the tree is n. So the first case is n will be 0. N equal to 0 means the tree is a leaf. Right, the height is 0 means the tree is a leaf. Okay, so if for n equal to 0, the tree is a leaf. And when the tree is a leaf, our formula A will be an atom. Right, and since our formula A is an atom P, we know that the property 1 holds. So the property holds by theorem 1. Okay, the property holds by theorem 1. Now the next case is like n greater than 0. If n is greater than 0, then we have a principal operator which labels the root of the tree, and which will have either 1 or 2 subtrees. Okay, so the subtrees A will be at height n minus 1. See, the height of the tree is n. In that case, the subtrees of A will be at height n minus 1. So by numerical induction, the property holds for these formulas. We assume that we have proved the formulas for all the subtrees, and we are trying to prove that the formula applies, the property holds for the formula that is obtained by applying the principal operator to the subtrees. Okay. Now, the principal operator of A will be either a negation or one of the binary operators. So, by 2 and 3, the property holds for A. Right. So, this is what this is actually the proof of structural induction. Proof by structural induction. As an example, let us consider this formula. The formula is represented as a tree here. P implies Q equivalence. Negation P implies negation Q. Okay. To start with, see, to prove that a property holds for a formula, we start with the leaf. That is the case where n is equal to 0. Okay. We start with the leaves. So, leaves will be labeled with atoms. Okay. So, leaves here are labeled with atoms. And we prove that the property holds for these atoms. That is, by theorem 1, the property, we have already proved theorem 1. So, the property holds for atoms P and Q. Okay. Now what we do is we move to the next level. the next level we have a tree of height 1. Tree of height 1 where we have a negation applied to P, or we have an implies operator applied to P and Q. Okay, so we have a tree of height 1. Okay, and here we have already proved that the property holds for a tree of height 0. Okay, and now we need to prove that the property holds for the tree of height 1, which is the formula obtained by applying this principal operator to the subtrees. Okay, so we now have P implies Q, and we prove that by property 3, by theorem 3. Theorem 3 is already proved. We have already proved that if the property applies for A1 and the property applies for A2, the property applies for A1 op A2, where op is a binary operator. Here again we have the property which is satisfied by P. So the property will be satisfied by negation P. And again the same is the case of Q. Now moving to the next level. Next level we have a tree of height 2. And when we consider the tree of height 2, see again we have we have proved that the property is satisfied by A1, which is negation P, and A2, which is negation Q. And we need to prove that the property is satisfied by A1 op A2, which is negation P implies negation Q. Okay, and that again by 3 we can prove. Now we move to the next level. Next level again we have a binary operator which is applied to 2 subtrees. One subtree is P implies Q. We have already shown that the property holds for P implies Q, and we also have shown that the property holds for negation P implies negation Q. Now by 3 we can prove that the property holds for A1 op A2, where op is the equivalence operator. Okay, so that was with structural induction. Now moving on to a formal grammar for formulas. Say the propositional logic formula. The formulas are usually derived from the context-free grammar. The terminals here will be the atomic propositions and the Boolean operators. The atomic propositions will be any atom in the set of symbols P, and the Boolean operator will be either conjunction, disjunction, implication, equivalence, XOR, NAND or NOR operator. Okay, the productions of the grammar. See, we know that a formula can be an atom P. A formula can be negation P. A formula can be P or P. So, your formula can be an atom P, or your formula can be negation formula. So, your formula can be negation P, or your formula can be negation P or Q. So, it will be negation formula. Again, the formula can be formula op formula, where op is any one of the binary operators. So, your formula can be P or Q, or it can be P and Q, or it can be P implies Q, or P and Q. So, anything, your formula can be anything of this kind. So, it is defined using the set of production, these 3 set of productions, and what constitutes the operator is shown here. So, we have actually 4 rules in the production. And now, once we have this grammar defined and given a formula, we can draw a derivation tree for the formula. So, suppose we consider the formula P implies Q, equivalence, negation P implies negation Q. The grammar that we have is formula can be P, formula can be negation formula, formula can be formula op formula, where op is any one of the binary operator. Now, to draw the derivation tree for this entire thing is a formula, right? This entire thing is a formula. So, we start with formula. Okay, so our formula is of the form formula op formula, right? So, our formula is of the form formula op formula. So, to draw the productions, we start with the formula and we apply any one of these rules to this step that we have obtained. Okay, so formula, we can split the formula as formula op formula, where op is the principal operator. So in this case, the principal operator is equivalence. So the next production will be replacing this op with the equivalence operator. So that will be formula, equivalence, formula. Okay, now on the left side also we have a formula, in the right side also we have a formula, and that is connected using the principal operator equivalence. Now in the next step we will try to disintegrate this formula. Okay, so the left side formula. The left side formula is again of the form formula op formula. Right, it is P implies Q. We have formula op formula. So the next step in the set of productions will be, in the derivation will be formula op formula. So this will be for this the left side formula we have split it as formula op formula, equivalence formula. Okay, now here again we have an operator. Replace this operator with the appropriate one. So that is an implication. So in the next step of the derivation, we replace op with implication. So we have formula implies formula, equivalence formula. Now next what we do is we consider the left side of the equivalence of this implication, and this formula we again try to disintegrate. Right, so this formula here is an atom P. So we can replace this formula with the atom P. So in the next step we will replace the formula with atom P. So that will be P implies formula, equivalence formula. And now next step what we do is this formula again we will replace it with any one of the production. So this here again is just an atom Q. So we will use the first production, formula equal to P. So here it is not P, it is Q. So that becomes P implies Q equivalence formula. Okay, so now we have obtained the left side of this formula. Now similarly we repeat this for the right side. So the right side formula we can split it as formula op formula. We apply this production, formula op formula, and we get, say, P implies Q equivalence formula op formula. Now when we move to the left side of this operator, which is a formula, that formula is again negation P. Okay, so which of these rules will we apply? We will apply the second rule. Okay, the second production will be applied, production rule will be applied, and this becomes P implies Q equivalence. Sorry, before that we need to replace the operator. The operator is replaced with the implies operator, and then in the next step we will replace this formula with the second rule in the production, negation formula. Okay, so this is negation formula, equivalence formula, and again this formula can be replaced with the atom P. So we have negation P implies formula. Now this formula again to this formula we apply the second rule, and we get P implies Q equivalence negation P implies negation formula, and that formula will be replaced with Q. Okay, now once we derive this formula starting with say the formula using the productions in the grammar, we draw the derivation tree. So at the root of the derivation tree we will have formula whose children will be formula op formula. Okay, so see here at the root we have formula whose children is formula op formula, and this formula again is formula op formula, and this formula is P. Op you replace with implication, formula again you replace with Q. This op is replaced with equivalence, and the same thing applies to the right hand side also. So to draw the derivation tree, first you draw the you derive the formula from the set of rules in the production, and then convert that to a tree. Okay, so this is how a derivation tree is drawn for a given formula in propositional logic. So the reference again is Ben Ary. All the topics are taken from the textbook by Ben Ary, The Mathematical Logic for Computer Science. And so in this presentation, we had seen structural induction, which is used to prove that a property holds for all formulas in the propositional logic. Then we have seen the formal grammar for propositional logic, and we have seen how to draw a derivation tree given a formula. Thank you.